Welcome, Life in 16 ounce listeners. So it's brew day. We're going to try to give a quick run through my brew day. We're brewing an odoriferous brown holiday brew, a signature series kit by Kyle. Hey, Kyle. Now let's go down the ingredients. Extract, 9 pounds of light malt extract. We don't have light malt, we have ultralight malt extract. LME is liquid malt extract. Okay, 1 pound of Belgian brown soft sugar. We had this in the pack, which is a candied syrup, amber candied syrup, but more beer said don't use that. Instead, use Belgian candy sugar, dark brown. 1 pound. 8 ounce crystal 60L. This is American caramel malt 60L. 8 ounce Victory. There's your 8 ounce of Victory. 4 ounces Carapils. 4 ounces Carapils and 4 ounce chocolate. English chocolate malt. We have 1 ounce of Pearl pellet hops, floral spicy, and 0.5 ounce of Northern Brewer pellet hops. We have, in this case, 14 grams, 0.5. And then we have Carl's Spice Mix. We have a clarifier. We have coriander seed, which we'll be putting an ounce of that in after the yeast is put in during the fermentation. And 1 ounce of bitter orange peel. Again, add to primary fermentation in 7 days. All right, so there you go. There's your ingredients for odoriferous brown. Next, let's add the brew water. Okay, we want to add we want to add 6 gallons of water. And we're using spring water. Six gallons is gonna get us a 5-gallon batch of beer because of the boil off. Then you next step is sanitizing. You want to be able to sanitize your carboy or your fermenter in this case. Put some sanitized water in it, swish it around, cover all parts that the beer will eventually touch. You can sanitize things like paddles and airlocks, funnels, spoons, mixers, all kinds of things. So ultimately, clean as much as you possibly can of anything that's going to touch your beer. So now that we have our water in the pot, we're approaching 152 degrees. And that is the mash temperature that we want to be at. So I'm going to turn off the heat. The mesh bag is what we're going to put our grains in. Another quick check of the temperature. Yep, we're pretty good there. We'll take our American Victory malt. Just make sure that the grain bag doesn't slip in to the water. Yep. One of the best parts of this is smelling all the stuff. This toasty, biscuity, baking bread, nutty stuff. Ooh. Good. Here's American caramel malt. It's a sweet, pronounced caramel with a drum roasted and crystallized malt. Very nice. And we're gonna go with American Carapils malt, which basically has no flavor or color contribution. Very unique dextrin style malt, adds body, foam, retention, and stability. Full, glassy. What does that mean? Use up to 5% to add body, mouthfeel, and improve head retention. Really? Huh. Okay. Interesting. And then, of course, the English chocolate malt. And this is where all you coffee lovers will be like, oh, I'm in heaven. Wow. Chocolate malt porters, sweet stouts, rich chocolate and coffee flavor aroma with a light astringency. Very nice. So once that's done, we're gonna steep our grains. Basically means we're gonna ensure that all of them are nice and hydrated, soaked in the brew water, almost like a tea bag. You're gonna kind of sort of dip it in to make sure everything's covered, and then we'll just attach this to the side and it's let it sit there for 30 minutes. All right, that's 30 minutes of steeping the grains. So what we'll do now is we'll take these bad boys out. We will attempt to get them in a strainer. It's not that much grains. I've had way more. But you want to be able to at least pat it down. Try to squeeze as much out of the grains to get all that goodness as possible. Okay, after steeping the grains, we punch up the burner, get the temperature up to about 180 degrees, which is getting there almost right now. And then we add basically the liquid malt extract. We're gonna cut this bad boy open. This thing is filled with syrup. Basically, it's pretty crazy. We'll actually turn off the temperature. Oh, turn off the burner, and we'll pour this bad boy in. Look at that! Blah. We're going to create a whirlpool so the liquid malt extract doesn't settle at the bottom and burn at the bottom of the kettle. So we'll whirlpool it around so it dissolves faster. Get that whirlpool action going. And we'll squeeze all of this goodness into the kettle. Whirlpool. This is why it's nice to have another person. Earlier, what I've done is I've actually sanitized this bag. It's not that big of a deal because you're going to be going into a boil phase here, but anything helps the efficiency raised up of a home brewer. So yeah, we'll continue adding this. This is the best part, is I will dunk this in here and try to get the beer, the wort inside. It's actually not wort yet, but anyway. There you go. Bring on Kermit the Frog. All right. So we've got these guys. To help me access the hot liquid. Roll that around. Get all that syrup off the sides. Check this out. Look at that. More hidden stuff down there. Keep going, because there's more stuff. Don't leave anything for the ugliness. Yes. Now gander. Pretty damn good. All right. So with this recipe, we do the liquid malt extract. There's also dried malt extract. And in this case, it's also asking us to add the Belgian candied sugar. So we're gonna cut this bad boy open. Take the opportunity to smell that. And add this to, oh, crazy there, Paul. So the key is you're adding tons of sugar and it's going to start boiling and foaming up. So you really want to make sure it's stirred and you watch over this kettle so it doesn't boil over. But I got something for that. Check this out. It's going to foam up. So we add this little bit of special ingredients. And yes, it looks like snot, or for all you bad people out there, something else. But it works so far. So what you want to do is get the boil back up. You want to take a gravity reading. And I took one and I'm at 1.068. The foam control that I added should stop a lot of this foam from creeping up. We're also at 7 gallons right now with all the things that we've added. The liquid malt extract and grains and things like that. I started with 6 gallons. So So that's kind of interesting. But what you want to do ultimately is get the cold break out of the boil. And make sure that it breaks and then goes back down to a nice rolling, vigorous boil. Not erupting like a damn volcano like it's doing right now. But amazing tool, gets you right where you're supposed to be. And I'm within 2 points of my gravity. Awesome. All right, next step, now that you have your wort broken its cold break, and now it's just gonna sit there and just do a vigorous rolling boil, which is awesome. You wanna take, in this case, a hop spider, which is a microfiltered strainer. I'm gonna plop that in there and basically start our 60-minute boil. And add our first hop addition, which is the Peril pellet hops. Floral, spicy. One of the best things about Brew Day, if you ever have a chance to be part of one, is that. Smelling those. It's so amazing. So those are pellets, not whole leaf hops. Not cones. Man, these are good. Okay, so there you go. Plop those in the hop spider. And time watch now. We are entering a bit of flurry of action. We're approaching the last 20 minutes of the boil. And what I do is, it's hot. I dump my immersion chiller copper into the boiling water to sanitize it, because I'll be throwing it in there later. Anyway, it sanitizes. Again, 20 minutes to go, and let's see what happens next. We've also gotten our ice chilling bath, whatever. I'll show you how it works later, but got that prepared, and also are starting to prepare a cleaning bin bucket for everything that I've been using. All right, last 15 minutes of the boil, and the recipe says to add Kyle's odoriferous spice mix. Just dump that in there. So that smells like cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. Who knows what else? Oh, Kyle. Five minutes left, which means time for a Whirlflock. It's a clarifier. Helps clear the beer. I haven't figured it out how well it works. And then the last top edition is a Northern Brewer. And I'm being denied access to this thing. No! You will not deny me access to my hop. So again, one wonderful smell, and then toss that into the hop spider. 5 minutes, and then we're done with the boil. All right, the science experiment begins. We are now finished with the boil. We've removed everything. We've got the kettle up on a nice surface. We've got the immersion chiller in there right now. We're down to approaching 180 degrees, and that's just the initial burn off, cool off from simply taking it off the burner and starting to pump, which you can maybe hear, cold ice water from a pond pump in the cooler. Then it goes into the immersion chiller, through all those coils, back out and into that bin back there as cleaning water. So we'll do this for hopefully less than 25 minutes and get it down from 200 to 80 degrees. All right, so got a paddle on this and insert it in here. This is how we whirlpool it to cool it down. Keeping an eye on the water level. Again, it'd be nice to have 2 people. Gotta keep an eye on the water level to add more water. Let's see what else. Eye on the temperature, just for S&Gs. And then somebody do this. You don't want to be too aggressive. We figured out that it foams up too much. Basically, you just need it to be whirlpooling around the coils to transfer the distribution of heat. All right, we're gonna add some more water. Okay, we're done with the whirlpool and we're approaching 70 degrees. Kind of give you an idea of what the whirlpooling does. A lot of foam. There's actually just a small layer of it, maybe ½ inch to an inch. That's not that bad. And we're also, you can also see like the gallon levels roughly hitting around the 6, just underneath the 6 mark. The process typically of cooling down the wort down to fermentable temperature needs to be under 25 minutes. Guess what? We're at 24 minutes and 50 seconds. So not too bad. Less exposure to oxygen and bacteria is what we're looking for. And at this point, we're gonna remove everything and prepare the transfer from the kettle to this guy, the conical fermenter. Okay, check it out. We are almost done. Now, at this point, the wort is down to 70 degrees. We need to be around 65 to 68 to actually pitch the yeast, which, by the way, I have in my pocket. It's an English ale yeast. You're supposed to keep it at roughly around 70 degrees, so I've had it in my pocket for quite some time, and then I'm going to put it into the sanitizer before I snip it with a sanitized pair of scissors to pitch the yeast. So right now I have a very small tube going from the siphon into the hole, which is covered from oxygen and all kinds of bacteria getting in, and ultimately it's going to pretty much the tube stops here, so it splashes down and creates more oxygen again. You want oxygen to be inside the wort as much as possible because the boil kills off of the oxygen. When you pitch the yeast will absolutely love to just eat up all that stuff. And there you go. Okay, finally we have the wort in the fermenter, roughly 4.5 gallons, although there's some stuff at the bottom. We'll figure that out. Still not bad collection of beer. We're going to take this off. We're going to add the yeast in there now. It's at a good pitching temperature. And I never get this right. Never get this right. There goes the yeast. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Have at it, boys. Enjoy. And in a couple of days, we'll see some bubbling from the airlock, knowing that the yeast is warmed up to its new environment, and it's gonna have a feasting day on all the sugars and, as Brandon would say, and whatnots. Yeah, screw that on tight. Got some sanitizer in that bad boy. I'll start percolating. Brew day complete. Well, we have to move it now. We move that into the closet to where it can sit around a 65, 68 degree temperature range. So it's going in the closet underneath the stairs. And final task is to get me a beer from the tap. All right. Thanks for watching. See ya.